Hello, citizens! Just finished watching The Last of Us TV series, and that is how you do video game adaptation to TV show. It was incredible. The writing is phenomenal, the acting is out of this world. They even have a ton of cameos from pretty much the whole cast of the video game voice actors come in and play other characters in the show, which is like, mwah, amazing, so cool. The music is pretty much all the same, it's all there, so it gives the same feel of the whole show to the game. There are some like very minor changes that they do make, but they make quite a few additions as well, and the additions actually really add to it, which I liked. I think that's how you should really do an adaptation. Like if you've already done it as a video game, and you're gonna I don't know, do something different, you want to make sure you add to the actual show and the story, rather than taking away things and changing things willy-nilly without any, thinking about it too much. So they explore like how the fungi or virus develops and how different states deal with that, what kind of different governments that they do put into place and whether they work or not. A lot of the things that they did cut out is mostly like, gameplay elements where you're walking through a building for, an hour and just shooting zombies. And, there is still some of that, but a lot of it in the game is you mostly just filler and gameplay for the player. So, it's completely understandable why they took out a lot of, some of the walking, but they still keep a lot of the dialogue that they do have. Episode 3 in particular is fantastic. They do change one of the very minor characters, but they do it so incredibly well that it just doesn't matter. You don't care because they tell this entire amazing compact story within that one episode. And it's just beautiful. It made me cry. It made my wife cry. So, yeah, that was probably like one of the highlights. Some of the things that I did kind of, I don't know, I guess not enjoy were the last episode feels quite rushed. The episode just before that is really intense for Ellie, and she's quite depressed because there's just a ton of shit that happens. And, she's depressed for like maybe the first, 5 minutes of the episode, and you see Joel's, mood change to be quite positive and happy-go-lucky, which is, same thing that happens in the game. And that's done, really well. Percy has found a cat outside, so he's meowing, sorry. And yeah, then they just, they get, spoilers, they get to the hospital and they just get right into like the end credits of the game, really. So they could have stretched, I think it's only like a 40-minute episode, and the whole climax just, it feels like it gets a bit rushed. It's still very punchy, for sure, but they could have extended it to an hour, I would say, so that, you get some more time for Ellie to really grieve about, the cannibals and basically being assaulted and sexually assaulted. And also like coming to terms that they're coming to the end of their journey and she's about to meet the Fireflies and what that entails. But I kind of just skim over that real quick. They definitely eased up Joel. I feel like Pedro Pascal was great, but he's a lot more... He's not as stern, he's a bit more mellow than Joel in the game. Which probably helps with the wider audience to, connect with that character. and not be as off-put by such a gruff guy that he is in the games. The actor who plays Ellie, she is fantastic. She does it really well. She's feisty, amazing. She was in Game of Thrones as, the Kidling Lordess. And yeah, just really amazing character. One of the things that did kind of annoy me a bit though was they changed Joel's daughter to be quite Percy. Shush! I'm doing a video. Was Joel's daughter is quite a bit older, and they change her, and I feel like she should have kept, looked quite similar to the daughter, just to be a bit more punchy, to show the similarities between Joel's dead daughter and Ellie, because I feel like that added to the game, and that when Joel first meets Ellie, he's quite surprised at how similar she is, and he's just like, no, we just can't take her. One, because she's basically a child, and two, just reminds me too much of my dead daughter. But in the show, they've changed up his daughter to be quite different, and look, it's fine, but I feel like that did take away some of the connection that you do get. It's still obvious, but it just felt less punchy, having that correlation between, she's pretty much a splitting image of my dead daughter. But honestly, it's a great show. It's definitely, I really didn't think they would be able to make it as good, because the video game just tells it so well. It's basically just one giant long cinematic, and they nailed it. They really, really did. So heavily recommend to people who both played the game, but pretty much anyone else, if you want, a zombie drama that's, just a little bit different. Is like really interesting watching the show and being like, yeah, they could have replaced them with just standard zombies, but it does make it a little bit more interesting that it's just they're fungi, and it's based on like a real plant in our world that acts in such a way. But yeah, no, heavily recommend. Definitely like 9 out of 10. So watch it, enjoy.